What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Magma here, and today I want you to join me as I attempt to draw the Five Nights at Junior's versions of the animatronics. I have recently gotten interested in watching content about this game, mainly from Markiplier's Let's Play, because let's be honest, the guy is an entertaining god.
Am I stupid? Am I dumb? Am I dumb? I might be dumb.
And I thought, you know what? These are some of the creepiest versions of the animatronics I have seen in a long time. I think the last time I was actually afraid of the animatronic designs was in The Joy of Creation, where they looked absolutely horrifying as well. But this is different. These look unsettling. It's as if you took the bear mascot from Bear in the Big Blue House and just made him freaking creepy looking. They look absolutely terrifying, and I love it so much because, let's be honest, FNAF has not been scary for a very long time. And this fan game has captured that horror perfectly in a bottle and has given it to us to enjoy once again. And so, you know what? I wanted to try and draw these characters because they're awesome. And it will be something very different compared to what I normally do. As you all know from my other drawings and animations, I have a very cartoony style. Very Western cartoon style with big oval eyes, very limp-like noodle arms, and skinny torsos. And so I was like, you know what, let's try drawing these. This will be a challenge, a good challenge, to try and draw these in a 2D style and see how creepy and horrifying they come out. Let's see if they can retain their scariness if I attempted to try and draw them. And so with further ado, let us begin. So the first one up to be drawn is the Junior's version of Bonnie. Now, he is absolutely terrifying in this freaking game, I gotta say. He is probably the scariest looking animatronic in my opinion. I love how the creators of the game have made him so wrinkly and old looking. He looks like an old rabbit, like an old wise man, you know, but he's obviously terrifying because he's got a bunch of wrinkles and the suit is just super decaying and it's so cool but so terrifying at the same time. I love it so much. I especially love, I don't know why, the little grandpa glasses he has. They just look so good. It really brings it all together. And so I tried to capture a lot of that with a lot of sketched line works to capture a lot of wrinkles on the suit. Not really tears so much, mainly because I didn't really think this character had too much tears in his suit. As you can tell, I'm not very good with shading either. I mean, I've never been one for shading. I think that's fairly obvious from my other content. I am pretty bad at it. It's just never been something I was good at, or to be honest, that I liked too much. Too much shading can ruin stuff for me. Even if it looks like a good by other people's standards, I'm just not a big fan of too much shading. And I mainly tried to shade parts of him out more than I did actually tried to capture shade in spots where the light doesn't reach his, obviously. I also tried to include light by having a neon red Junior sign in the background, which looks kind of cool, and it makes it gives off an eerie red light, which just looks so good in horror settings. But, you know, for what it is, being the first time that I've drawn this character, I think it looks pretty good, and I think it came out really well. And for the next one up, we'll have the man himself, Freddy Fazbear. Now, I'll be honest, Freddy is the first one I actually drew, but because I didn't like it so much, I didn't put him first here. He's the first one I drew out of all the animatronics, and I think it shows a lot, especially from the shading, a lot of the things like his eyes. As you can tell, Bonnie had a black outline for his eyes to make them look like they were just sunk into his head. And I didn't really do that for Freddy, and I wish I did do that for Freddy because I think that would have made him look a lot more terrifying. I also wish his jaw and his snout I messed with a bit more because I mean, I'm sure that's right to what he actually looks like, but it just I wish I adjusted it a bit more because it just looks, it looks like a donkey, I'll be honest. That with the teeth. I mean, that's what his teeth look like. They're crooked and messed up like that. But in terms of the face, I just wish I adjusted it a bit more because he does kind of look like a donkey to me. I think actually this one, in terms of the sketch line work around it for the wrinkles on Freddy, I think this one came out actually better than Bonnie in my opinion. Maybe because I was just able to find more places to add wrinkles to him and it just made it look a lot better. And that's also because in Bonnie's, he's a lot more shaded out, so it's hard to see where the wrinkles are because he's fading out into the darkness because of my terrible attempt at shading the character. And Freddy is kind of being, he's kind of fading away into the darkness on his left there. But I mean, you're still able to see the wrinkles, and honestly, the hands on these animatronics are so cool too. They're so creepy. Like, imagine that just like reaching out to you in the darkness, or even with like a little light. That's just so terrifying. So terrifying. Same with Bonnie and with all the other animatronics that you'll see. I added a neon red Juniors logo because, again, red lights in horror settings look amazing. And it reflects off of Freddy. It doesn't reflect off of him as well as it does with Bonnie, but that's because this was my first attempt at drawing like these versions of the characters in general, and Freddy was the first one I drew out of all of them. He's not terrible, but he's definitely my least favorite out of all of them for sure. But I mean, not too bad. I definitely wish I fixed a lot of coloring things. Like his teeth are a little too white in my opinion. And like I said, the eyes, I definitely wish I fixed a bit more to where they look like they're sinking into his head. But, you know, it's decent for a first attempt, I guess. And up next here, we have our girl herself, Chica. Now, Chica in this game is a little different compared to her original game's counterpart. In this game, the developers decided instead of her personality being surrounded by food and things like pizza, they decided let's surround her personality with sleep. And I think, to be honest, while it looks okay, the character, I think it missed out on a lot of like horror possibilities because a lot of her design is just hidden behind the nightgown they gave her. I think she could have looked even more terrifying if they didn't give her the nightgown, but I mean, what can you do? It still looks creepy for sure, and I honestly think she's definitely my second favorite of all the drawings. She looks just absolutely creepy in the final product. As with the others, she's got the neon red Juniors logo, which I made a lot bigger in this one, which I like. I didn't, unfortunately, now that I'm looking at it, I didn't really capture the light reflecting on her very well. It should probably be like a thicker red outline around her for the light, but it's not that bad, I guess. It gets the job done, especially up here at the headpiece. It definitely reflects a lot more than like her shoulder areas, which I wish I did add some more red there, but what can you do? And I also like this, the shading in this one's a lot better. Maybe not in terms of shading on the wrinkles itself, but I do like how at the bottom there, she's like fading into the dark a lot more compared to Bonnie or Freddy, who almost their entire like side of their body is fading into the darkness. But yeah, this is what the junior version of Chica looked like. Not bad, I like it. Definitely a good attempt for the first time, and I'll have to try it more. And for the last one, who was probably the most challenging to draw out of all of them, was Junior's Foxy. Now, I for some reason took a while to get the headpiece correct, get the correct head size, get the correct shape, especially when it came to the fur sticking out by his cheek areas. I just could not get that right at first, and it took me quite a few attempts to actually get it correctly. He is probably the second scariest out of all of them, because of the fur going down his neck. It's just so, it almost looks like spikes, honestly. It's just so creepy, and he has a lot of tears in the suit, which is, you know, something Foxy normally has, especially in the first game. His suit is torn a lot. You can see like his stomach area, it's all torn apart. His arms have some tears, and in this game, it is kicked up to 100. Like he looks like he was like shredded by like a knife or like a claw or something. It just looks so good, the tears in his suit, and I tried to capture them as best as I could. I mean, I think I did a decent job for a first time doing it, but I think they could be a lot better, and I think people have definitely done them a lot better with their fan art. In terms of shading, I think he's my favorite that I shaded, mainly because of what I did with the Junior's light. Instead of having it off to like the side or something, I had it go like right behind Foxy, and it's bigger than probably all the other characters, to be honest. And with that, it allowed me to surround him with this outline of a red light. And so a lot of the shading is just like the middle part of his body, like his face, his neck, you know, the middle part of his torso, the middle part of his arms. And it just looks a lot cooler, in my opinion, compared to the shading of the other animatronics. I don't think I added enough wrinkles to him, to be honest, compared to the other ones. Which I wish I did now that I'm looking at it. I definitely know there were a lot more spots I could have added some wrinkles to the character. But for what it is, it's not that bad. Like I said, he was definitely the most challenging out of all of them for me to draw, just because his head shape was kind of weird. And by the time I actually got towards the torso, I was a little done with the character. And so I just quickly added wherever there would be wrinkles to the character that I thought there would be, and what was on the reference sheet I was using. But overall, I think it was good for the first time. I'm definitely proud of it. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have made them look absolutely way more terrifying than how I presented it. And speaking of terrifying, one thing I just remembered is the eyes. I almost messed up with the eyes. I almost made them kind of like Freddy's eyes, where they didn't have a thick black outline around them to look like they're sinking into his head. And even on here, they kind of don't look like they have it. I definitely think I made the yellow part and the pupils of his eyes a little too big, which prevented me from doing a thick outline because I forgot the thick outline, so I had to improvise. But the shading, he does have a lot of shadow around his eyes, I noticed in the game, and so I tried to capture that here, which I think helps it make him look a little more terrifying. But I really wish I could go back and fix those eyes. Maybe if I draw the characters again, at least I'll know then to have his eye have a thick black outline around the eyes. So yeah, I think he's pretty good, not gonna lie. I really liked it. And as you can tell, I did not do Puppet, Balloon Boy, or Mangle. But if you guys like this video, maybe let me know in the comments if you want me to draw those other characters. I'd be happy to do it, and I think it would be awesome, because I honestly have plans to use these designs in my own animations, because I want to start doing more horror-like animations, where scary things, because that's what FNAF started off as, like a scary game franchise, and I want to kind of recapture that in my animation. So, if you want to see me draw those characters, let me know. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, share it with others, as it'll help the channel grow. And maybe subscribe to the channel as well if you enjoy this content and want to see more, that'd really help out a lot. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.